We understand that AISD does not always sufficiently address the needs of all students. Is the only remedy for charter schools to come in and fill the gaps? Or do you think AISD is capable of serving the needs of all students? We're going to go to John, and then Ophelia, and then Andy. You're muted, John.
Is Austin ISD able to fill the needs for all students? That is a really big and nearly existential question. I think given that we have one of the top high schools in the country, it's possible to do that. And there are children in that high school with disabilities who are doing really well. I think in one of the wealthiest districts in Texas, we can find ways to distribute that money really easily. And one of the nice things about being the most racially segregated and income unequal district in Austin is that desegregating will be quicker and easier in terms of geography. It'll just require people to be in some of these other highly rated by the number schools, moving their kids to schools that are receiving the resources to be able to treat other people well. There's advocacy groups, impressive advocacy groups, pushing the district on special ed, pushing the district on bilingual education and dual immersion, pushing the district on problem solving and narrative ways of doing this, that I think together with the nonprofits like in communities and schools, with parents, and with making low income and Title I schools the priority for the district, that we can change this and make Austin the kind of bubble so many people think it is, but it isn't.
Thank you. So let me just then follow up with 1 minute for your response. Is there a role for charter schools in Austin?
Is there a role for charter schools in Austin? There is a role for charter schools in the TEA. There is a role for charter schools in the governor's office in sense of what public education is. And charter schools are part of the ecosystem because of these larger structural reasons. So the role right now as it exists is that it provides an escape for people from schools in right now. It provides a home for students that don't find a home for themselves in Austin ISD. It provides for some people a chance to innovate and reform in ways that Austin ISD doesn't allow people for a number of reasons. But I think things like schools like Travis Heights shows that you can have in-district charters with the Education Austin to try to be successful and do the kind of education that both teachers, staff, families, and students buy into.
Thank you. Now to Ophelia. Do you think AISD is capable of serving the needs of all students, or is the only remedy for charter schools to come in and fill the gaps?
I think AISD is capable, but not alone. I think there have been models that were created back in the 90s called the Alliance Schools with Austin Interfaith, where they really brought in a core group of people within this campus, the community, the churches, and they all work together to build that community of learners. There's a model that was successful, effective, and it just didn't continue. A new superintendent comes in and there's a new vision. So there's always new ideas, but there isn't really hanging on to things that really worked, things that were successful. And so until they are open, you know, I've been in the schools for the last 30 years and many schools are not welcoming. They don't want you there. They want parents to come by t-shirts and do PTA little activities, but don't ask me questions. Until there's that respect of the parents' voice, the community being a real partner. And when we say, when I say, you know, let's have a community meeting. Well, when I say a community meeting, I mean the people, I mean the parents, I mean the grandparents, I mean the business leaders, the faith community, to be there with that campus, because we all care about the future of our students' education. But when the district says community, it's all nonprofits. Okay, so there's a big disconnect there. And so until we can get on the same page to work together and to be acknowledged with and respecting that everyone can really create this community of learners, then it's going to continue to be that challenge. And the parents will go on to charter schools because they don't feel that respect in their community and in that school.
Thank you. Let me follow up with you, Ophelia. You had submitted a letter to the TEA supporting Learn for Life, which is a charter school looking to open a campus in Austin. Can you speak to your support of this charter while running to be an AISD trustee?
For the last 4 years, I've been in PTA at Eastside Memorial High School, and we were creating this holistic approach to health and wellness that's going to have that safety net to ensure high quality education, but to also address the health and wellness piece, because after student surveys, student interviews, and partner people from the UT Med School, and we had interns that came, and a lot of conversations, and everything led to mental health was a priority to work with our students. Well, this was the year, 2020 was the year to implement. The health director from AISD squashed it, said, no, we're not doing it. That summer, I was at a social justice ministry meeting and with other churches, and I heard about Learn for Life. It was exactly what we were trying to build at Eastside Memorial. The district squashed it. I went up to the superintendent, said we need to have a meeting. We had 25 stakeholders ready to do the work. We're not asking for any money. We're not asking, we're just saying, support us, give us the blessing so we can move forward and provide this amazing experience for Eastside Memorial. And he just deferred to the director of health services. So when I learned about Learn for Life, I wanted to know more. How were they doing this? And that's where I learned it was its own charter school. Well, I really liked it because it is what we need. I have seen so many students get kicked out of AISD. And even though I liked it, I wanted to make sure that community wanted it, because it wasn't about what I wanted. It was about, is there a need? When I organized walkers to walk that Bromberg area, within 3 days, we got 500 signatures. Students told us stories of how they wanted to go back to school, how they messed up, but the district will not let them come back. Too many of those stories. Why? Why is that the district kicks out our kids to the curb? These are all the throwaway kids that have been dropped out 2-3 years and had no hope to coming back to AISD because they were told they could not come back.
Thank you very much for your answers. Sorry to interrupt you.
That's okay.
Let me just then, if you don't mind briefly saying then, assuming that you become a trustee, these are things you would push for AISD to try and create, and you felt that you supported the charter because AISD was not able to?
It does not exist. Yes. And
thank you.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate it. And now to you, Andy, the question is, we understand that AISD does not always sufficiently address the needs of all students. Is the only remedy for charter schools to come in and fill the gaps? Or do you think AISD is capable of serving the needs of all students?
I do not think, let me rephrase that. AISD can meet the needs of all students, but I want everybody to understand that it takes more than just money. Certainly AISD has a large budget, and that budget provides for resources for our campuses. But when it comes to supporting our children, it also takes time. And not just time that the teachers are providing and mentioning, but time that even we as parents are providing as well, by providing our input as to our children's success. I think that as we move forward, we can look at AISD's budget and say we need resources here. And I don't want nobody to think that, oh, we throw some money at it and then that's going to fix the problem. That is not always the solution. Time that we put into utilizing those resources is what fixes the solution. So if we as a district, especially in District 2, can do that, then we as a district will be better off in the long haul. You know, I've been in the Dove Springs area for 30 years. And I remember when Mendez when they first did not meet AYP for performance. I sat on the committee, and by that next year, we were off that list. And I was happy about it. It's like, okay, a glitch, give us the resource we need and we'll fix it. And then all of a sudden, administration changes, and now all of a sudden we're right back to where we were. And we're like, what happened? So a lot of times it's like, I don't want to let's just keep throwing money at the problem to fix it. We also need to throw our time to fix it as well. And if we do that, then charter schools, they can occupy other places like maybe Houston, which may need their support a lot more because they're a much larger district than we are, you know, in doing so as well. Thank you.
Let me follow up with the same question that I asked John then. Is there a role for charter schools in Austin, Texas?
To me, no, there's not a role for charter schools. It is merely just another choice, but it's a choice that AISD students do not have to make. Austin ISD can provide the support and the resources that every student needs to be successful.